Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Jesse Colson. Welcome to our channel. Getting ready to start planting today. We've got both covers on the greenhouses. Sorry I didn't really bring you guys along for that part. Kind of a quick get it on there type of deal. We had some pretty good wind coming up, so went ahead and just got the cover put on it. Got this one finished up. So what we got, aside from a roughly broken door, so in here we've got 8 beds on each side. Four per side, 8 beds per end. I put it that way. Got all those ready. We got gravel in the bottom of them, a flake of straw, 2 buckets of dirt, a bucket of manure on top, and a whole bunch of spiders hanging out. But got it all finished up. Both ends closed in all the way. Everything's looking really good, so we're gonna start planting today. Get everything that we can get planted. Go in and show you the inside of this greenhouse. Our door's just kind of rigged up right now, so it somewhat works. And got hinges and stuff. We just got to get it finished in the next few days. So, but for now, just slide it sideways like that. So, in here, hopefully the camera doesn't fog up. We got 1 bed down there that we still got to get dirt in, and 1 bed right here we still have to get dirt in. Aside from that, this whole entire house is ready to plant. Down on this end, we got our window. Simple little latch system. Pulls out, sits down right there. So there's our window. There's the other house. We're gonna start getting everything planted. I think our plan is to start with tomatoes on this end and go from there. So we also got this bed finished up. Took all the manure we needed that was piled here. It's in these 3 beds right here. You got just a little section there, and each of these is full. Got a couple little asparagus sticking up, so looks like we might get some asparagus back through on our asparagus bed. Got that one completely leveled out. It's ready to plant. It'll be potatoes. This one we got to finish leveling up. We got a little bit more manure we got to take off of it before we finish leveling it completely. But we got this bed done, and those 2 beds both done. This one we'll plant onion from right there all the way down. And then the other 2, not sure what all we're gonna get in them yet, but I'll start getting everything planted today and bring you along. So our beds are prepped and basically ready to plant now. This morning I ground up some fish emulsion and saved everybody the displeasure of having to see that, because it's not the coolest process. It's kind of nasty. But so all we do, dig down pretty deep. Find any little weeds hiding out in there, pop them things out. So dig down about 6 to 8 inches. And take a handful of this yummy stuff. Put it down in the very bottom of the hole. a little bit of dirt, kind of mix it. Helps it break down a little bit quicker. Okay, now we've got to get our eggshells, our Epsom salt. Okay, so we always save our eggshells, put them in a bag, smash them up, take some of those. Always take about, not quite a full handful. Break them up in there. And we take just Epsom salt. Usually do a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons worth of Epsom salt. And do that in every hole. And again with the fish, take a pretty good handful, drop it down in there. Mix it in the soil. Repeat the process. About so much Epsom salt. It doesn't take tons. Gives them some magnesium. You boys had really good luck with it. And eggshells, just like that. And next, take a little bit of fertilizer. Drop a little bit in the bottom of each. And we always do a little bit of blood meal. Helps promote some good leaf growth. Do about, I don't know, half a handful or so in each of them. And then about the same amount of bone meal. So that's pretty much our process of getting them started. And I usually go with a little bit of dirt on top, mix in just a little bit. That way nothing's directly contacting the plant roots. Then get our tray of tomatoes. And we plant these pretty deep. We'll actually plant that whole entire tomato in to where only about so much is sticking out on the top. We'll set it in there. Just gently pack it. You don't have to pack them hard. I always try to leave a little bit of a depression around it. That way the water will pool right there. Leave a little bit of loose soil on the top. Then take our little sprinklers and set it right next to it. We'll do the exact same thing on this one. Those little cups will break down, so if they're in there, it doesn't hurt anything at all. That weed out of there. We don't have to deal with any of them. Just like that. Put our sprinkler next to it. Move on to the next one. This one we'll leave in the cup. Dig our hole. swallow the fish. Mix it in. Epsom salt. Eggshells. Bone meal. Little blood meal. About a half thing fertilizer. Alright. And that little dude right in the center. You plant in the cups. Just try to tamp the soil down around the edge of the cup. And pack it down just like the other ones. Leave a little depression in there. Slight bit of loose soil on top. Set our sprinkler. We're going to keep going and get some of these done. We'll check back with you in a bit. Okay. We've got all these little guys planted. So this whole side is planted now. So that's 10 tomatoes planted along this side. Got just different varieties all down. So we're going to put cages on them. We'll sew the cages in place. And then we will work on planting from this end that way again. Get the rest of our tomatoes. I don't know how many more we have left, but got a handful left, so we'll get the rest of that one planted and go from there. So our tomato cages, just set like that. Just be careful your cover doesn't hit them. Get a hole in your cover, get the tomato cages on, and then as them things grow, they'll just fill that cage completely. And get all the cages on real quick and start planting the other side. I'm gonna water these in just a little bit. Don't want to totally drown them, but get the bed pretty moist. Got a lot of composted manure in here, so it definitely takes up the water pretty good. This will get all that fertilizer and everything that's in there going. So this side we went ahead and went through, prepped all the holes, got them all fertilized up. I'll just start punching in the plants. So we do the eggshells because the calcium. Same thing with the bone meal. You get phosphorus, calcium, and blood meal, nitrogen. So you get good leaf growth using the blood meal. It's kind of what you want in the early stage of the plant. You want them to start growing quick and start putting on a lot of green. Then they'll start putting on a bunch of fruit. Sorry, doing this one hand of the camera is a little sideways there. Now that my lovely assistant is back, I'll have her hold the camera for me. Go through and pop these things in. It'll be a week or two before we actually turn on the water system. So for a little bit, it'll all be watered by hand. but we go ahead and get the water system in place so it's ready. The only reason we won't get it going right now is just in case we get a frost or a real cold night, we don't break anything or freeze anything up. So in this container, we did these tomatoes a little different. We started these ones kind of late. They're just planted in the container. So all you do to get them out is go as deep as you can below and lift up. So then you get that whole entire little thing. And these ones, what we'll do, they get planted pretty deep. They still have just their starter leaves. So we'll plant them quite deep in this little well. As they grow, they get a little bit taller, about so much. Then we'll pop off the bottom leaves, we'll cover it the rest of the way and get some more root growth in there. So for now, that's all we do with those. All right, now I'll come back in, water these in. We don't have enough tomato cages for all of these, so we won't get cages on all these beds quite yet. In the past, we've just done like a string line across them. Kind of helps hold them up. Actually works pretty well. So for the first few days, we'll probably water them about twice a day. Keep the soil moist, get them kind of going. And then another week or so, we'll get the sprinkler system turned on them. And then they'll water twice a day, about 15 minutes each. These little ones, I'll really wet the outside of the bed. Then in the center, I don't put very much at all, just enough to moisten the soil. You don't have enough root system to hold themselves in yet. You get too much in there, you end up floating the starts out. The same thing with the seeds. I'll really wet down the outsides of the bed. And then I'll just enough to soak it up where the seeds are at. Hopefully it's been warm enough. The soil's actually a nice temperature. I've had the greenhouse cover on it for a couple days now, so the seeds should germinate actually pretty quick. Hopefully in a few days we should see some growth out of them. Alright, so got our peppers. Got 4 jalapeno that made it and 4 bell peppers that made it. So we're gonna do 2 and 2. We'll just do 2 jalapenos in each bed, 2 bell peppers in each bed. And basically do the exact same thing with how we do the tomatoes, do the fish emulsion. and then all the other fertilizer that goes in them. Do that on all these beds right here. And then I think next we're gonna do a couple of squash that we have, some zucchinis and things like that. We'll get those in a couple of these beds. Basically do it all the same way. Plant basically, or put the exact same stuff in the bottom of every hole that we plant. So we're gonna go ahead and get these beds prepped, and then we'll show you how we set them in. All right, so here we got a spineless zucchini. It's a little wilty. I think it needs some water. This one is a zucchini dark. And we've got some crook necks. There's still some little baby things. They didn't take off too well. Usually these things are like the ones we can't keep under control. This year's kind of been the opposite. So we start everything inside. This year we kind of dropped the ball, didn't get started as early as we usually try. And we got some bush cucumbers. They're kind of little puny things too. I've always had a hard time with cucumbers. Cucumbers is one thing we've never had a ton of luck growing for some reason. I don't really know why. So we're doing 2 different varieties in each house. See which one prevails. And we've got a sad excuse for spaghetti squash. We're not really sure what happened, but they didn't seed quite right. It's putting roots off, but it grew these big old leaves and didn't spine out. So we're gonna see what happens. See if the vine will come on after it's in the dirt. It's kind of funny. Never had that happen before. Don't really know what caused it either, but figured heck with it. We're gonna try to plant it anyway. And we got a watermelon down here. Never had much luck with watermelons either. I think our climate's just not exactly the best climate for them, but we're gonna give it a try. Head to the other house and get all those planted in real quick. And we got a cucumber here. Another brand of cucumber, or variety, not brand, it's a variety of cucumber. It tucked in. I guess I could stick the sprinklers on those. This is our crook neck. I've never done crook necks in the greenhouse, so let's see what happens. They grow really good outside here, but
Figured we'd give them a shot in the greenhouse just to see this year. There's a zucchini. This is our other zucchini. Have to get some water on these poor dudes. And then I was going to do the watermelon in that one. I don't know why I dropped it down there. So there's our watermelon. And this is our other spaghetti squash that did that funky only leaf growth thing. Usually spaghetti squash grows really, really good here. You usually get some really nice spaghetti squash. So hopefully these ones will do all right. Okay, so Maya's gonna do the beans. We got 4 different kind of beans that we're gonna do. So we're gonna do so many in each. We're gonna do the exact same thing in the other greenhouse.
All right, so just gonna do these. All over in here. One seed in each hole. And just cover them up.
So the beans and stuff, we don't add anything extra to the soil. Once they start growing, then we'll put a little bit of top dress fertilizer on them, but for the most part, this manure that we got on them, it's good old manure. So it's got plenty of nutrients in it. So we're gonna get 4 beds worth planted, and we'll catch up with you when we go into the other house. You punch, man, you go about 2 inches deep, so I usually just take my finger like that. I don't go for any special pattern or anything, but just pop them in and take a seed. Some of them I might get more than one in there, but hey, it's all right. A couple extra chance to get a little growth. Make sure they're all down in there. And I just kind of rake over the top. Maya's working on her last bed there. She does a little more consistent than I do. But, so we got 4 beds planted here, 4 beds planted over there. That'll be our beans. I don't think we're going to do any outside this year. We might do a little bit if we have extra space. But for now, that's where we're at. We're going to do some butternut squash, so I'm going to put in 2 seeds per hole. I got those ones a little on the deep side. Okay. 2 seeds per hole. Maya just did some eggplants there. And we're going to do some acorn squash in this one. Probably do about 4 plants worth. We'll see what comes up. All right, 2, 2, 2. We'll have the odd one in the middle there. All right, so this house is fully planted. A lot more squash and beans in there than anything else, so, which is great. I believe, aside from our lettuce, we're completely planted in this house except for the 2 beds that we don't have dirt in yet.